Congressman Abante muling hindi nakapagtimpi at naglabas ng saloobin sa ginawang hindi pagsipot ni VP Inday sa budget hearing sa Kongreso. Saad ng kongresista na tila iniinsulto umano ng Vice-Presidente ang Kongreso sa ginawa nito. Panoorin ang video.
Budget requirements. So, meron pong mga satellite offices na sobra-sobra yung budget. At the same time, meron naman pong mga satellite offices na kulang yung budget.
Madam Chair, parliamentary inquiry, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, parliamentary inquiry.
The Honorable Abante.
It is also a cherished tradition in Congress that whenever we deliberate the budget of a certain agency, that the head of the agency must be present. At this point in time, there are no staff here. The head of agency present on the office of the Vice President. And we only have a DBM here. A DBM even answered that only, the COA even answered that only the OVP could be able to answer that. Perhaps we could be able to say it. Kanina, sinabi rin po ni Jose Marcoleta, is a cherished tradition to approve the budget immediately, but there's a cherished tradition that when we deliberate a budget of any agency, that the head of agency should be present. That is my parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Chair.
So, as we had explained earlier, we received a letter dated 10 September. At doon sa liham na yon, pinaliwanag ng ating Vice Presidente na sinabit na po niya lahat ng mga documents na sa tingin niya ay kakailanganin ng Kongreso sa ating pagkilatis ng kanyang budget.
Yes, Madam
And
Chair.
so, yun po ang sitwasyon natin sa ngayon. Pwede natin, pagkatapos ng ating interpellation, pwede natin desisyonan kung anong gagawin. Pero sa ngayon, ipapagpatuloy muna natin ang pagtatanong.
Madam Chair, let me explain. No? But her letter, actually, na her not being present here, is an insult to this institution. When we had the last hearing, I even questioned her if this institution has the right to scrutinize the budget, and she even failed to answer. My goodness, I think that her writing a letter to us telling us that she has completed this, she still must be present, Madam Chair. And because she is not present, she is actually insulting the second institution that should scrutinize the budget of the Vice President. And I do not care even if she is the Vice President, Madam Chair. I will not allow that Congress will be insulted by the head of any agency.
Duly noted.
But Madam Chair, whatever your decision might be, I would concede to it.
Salamat po. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and salamat Kong Benny. Akala ko po ako yung subject ng point of inquiry ninyo. Natakot pa doon, pero salamat po. And I share the frustration and lament that. And actually, as you can see based on my interpellation, although yes, we're able to get these questions out in the open, wala po tayong actual sagot na nakukuha, unfortunately. And this is by no fault of the COA. We appreciate your attendance here and your answering to the best of your abilities. But it's just that precisely the questions here relating to the budget of 2025, understandably, you will not be able to answer. With that, Madam Chair, I have other questions here. And supposedly at this juncture, lahat na po ito ay targeted, directed po doon sa OVP. But just to point it out po, no, going back to what the COA mentioned regarding the percentage of variance, yung over po nga ng Cebu and Bohol was 70%. As compared naman yung under for Panay and Negros Islands, 276% po. So hindi po maayos yung pag-distribute throughout the regions. It seems to be they were done equally. they were equally cut, and I think this would definitely have an effect on the operational effectiveness of yung mga satellite offices and extension offices. But anyway, I leave it to the body to decide on what to do with this, and I will now conclude my interpellation. Thank you very much, COA. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Right. Salamat. Next to interpellate from the majority, we have the Honorable Fidel Nograles.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is addressed to the COA in relation to the question on the lease or rent of satellite offices. I would like to ask, based on your audit report, that you mentioned that in 2022, there was 29 million, and in 2023, there was 53 million spent on lease or rent of satellite offices or extension offices. In your audit report, do you have details on the breakdown of this 53 million spent on year 2023? If yes, can you provide our committee with information on how this 53 million on the lease of satellite offices was spent?
Madam Chair, based on the report, the rent expenses or lease expenses in CY 2023 represents the payment for the lease of office at the Robinson Cybergate Plaza, Disaster Operations Center, and various satellite office locations. It also includes the lease of storage space for various files and equipment and lease of multi-copier machines. So, for your question, Madam Chair, on the exact amount or the breakdown of the 53 million, we can provide it on the later date because we have no on records on file as of this moment.
Madam Chair, on record, do you have an average of the monthly lease or the rent of these satellite offices?
For the monthly average, Madam Chair, as of now, we cannot provide the exact amount or the average because in the report we have no written or there is no breakdown on the annual or the monthly expenses for rental. But we will we can provide the copy once we got the documents on the office.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would also like to ask about the salaries and wages. If you have information in your audit report regarding the disbursed amount for contractual and casual employees of the satellite offices.
Based on the notes to financial statement, including in the in our report, there are no breakdown for the salaries and wages for the satellite offices.
Madam Chair, for my last question, I would like to ask about the financial assistance or subsidies given to political organizations or non-NGOs. Do you have information in your audit report which you can provide to our committee regarding the disbursement or the release of amounts given to political organizations or NGOs?
Madam Chair, based on the notes to financial statement in our report, the assistance to non-government organization or civil society organization for the year 2023 is amounting 582,951.48.
Madam Chair, how about for 2024? Do you have information in your audit report on the subsidy or financial assistance to NGOs?
Madam Chair, for the 2024, we have no details because the annual audit report is pertaining to the annual for CY 2023. But we can provide the details once we have once we're back in the office.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Okay. Salamat. Next is the Honorable Arlene Brosas.
Madam Chair,
But
Madam
before
Chair.
you begin,
point of order, Madam Chair.
what is your point of order? And what is the rule being
I
violated?
do realize the kindness of our colleagues here. And I really appreciate that kindness, Madam Chair. But we are facing a blank wall. My goodness, without the presence of any of the officers and officials of the Office of the Vice President, we are facing a blank wall here, Madam Chair. And that's my point of order, because I really appreciate the kindness of my colleagues here in this briefing. Masyado tayo naging mabait, Madam Chair, and I would think that it is time for us to realize that we should not allow any head of agency to further insult the authority of Congress to scrutinize the budget, Madam Chair. That is my point of order.
Madam Chair, very quickly, Madam Chair, yeah, if I may.
Kong Abante, I believe that was a manifestation, not a point of order. So yes, we note your manifestation and we proceed to the Honorable Garin.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. With due courtesy to my mentor and, of course, a legislator who have been here for long. We admire and we respect the context of the Honorable Abante. However, Madam Chair, I believe this issue has been deliberated for several hours already since we started. With that, Madam Chair, even with the absence of the Vice President, but with the presence of other officials here, and with members who would like to ask questions, can we please proceed with that with due courtesy to the Honorable Abante, Madam Chair? Because we also have other meetings to attend to and we have a lot of members listed. So with that, Madam Chair, I hope that we put a period on that issue. Maraming salamat po.
Yes, and let me just, thank you, Honorable Garin, and let me just add a few more points. First is, kung naalala niyo po, nung huling hearing, yung ating representative mula sa COA, yung si Assistant Commissioner Juliano, ay wala siya masyadong naibigay na information dahil hindi naman po siya yung individual.
Matapos naman ang mga nabitawang salita ni Abante ay nagdulot naman ito ng iba't ibang saloobin mula sa ating mga netizens. Ayon kay @Jester Bagsek, magtrabaho kayo sa mga distrito nyo, wag ngawa ng ngawa, sayang meeting nyo dyan, pasahod kayo ng taong bayan, saad naman ni @Romeo Kang Leon. Bakit hindi na lang ibigay yung dating budget na ibinigay ninyo ni dating VP Leni Robredo? Komento naman ni @Lilitipawan3518. Ibig sabihin niyan hindi nirespeto ng VP ang Congress, she is not a professional one. I think it is the prerogative of the whole chamber to decide what is their next move. The nation is watching. Anong opinyon nyo dito mga kabayan? Maaaring magbigay ng comment below.